Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome along. It is Thursday, the 9th of July. Welcome along. I am so excited to share this first workshop with you in this series of 3 workshops, all about how to make the next 20 sales of your online offer using your human design. What could be better than that? I am so glad to have you here. I am going to dive right in and share a presentation with you, some slides with you, so that you can take notes or absorb in whatever way works best for you. I should say as well, it's absolutely boiling here. We're in the UK. It's like this massive heat wave. Let me know in the comments if you are also melting like I am. And I've had to shut my windows because there's like building work going on at the offices over the road from my office. So I'm just going to sit here in this like sauna to do this workshop with you. Let me know where you're joining from. It is so cool to have you here, and let's get on with it. And I should say as well, this workshop is being dropped at 1 p.m. Thursday, 9th of July. I am in the comments to answer all of your questions. So feel free, as we go through this, ask your questions. Don't be shy. I want to help you create a plan that works for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen now so you can, so we can just crack on with this. Hopefully you can see that okay. Workshop number 1, let's go. So your next 20 sales into your online offer, getting your game plan foundations in place for your next 20 sales into your online offer using your human design. So welcome along, everyone. As I've already said, it is so cool to have you here. So I'm just going to cover off with you now what we're going to be covering off over the next few days. So we have obviously got this group, this next 20 sales game plan group on Facebook, where everything will be housed for the duration of this event. So we've got the workshop today, one tomorrow. We're going to a catch-up weekend over this weekend, and then a final workshop on Monday. So I'm kind of front loading here a little bit. So today is kind of like foundations and kind of like getting some of the foundations in place. Tomorrow, we're going to lighten things up with a really fun angle of how you can actually add in your environments from your human design into your sales efforts to amp up, how unique you are and how much you stand out in the marketplace. And then Monday, we're going to be pulling together your game plan. So it's kind of like, it's going to be super fun. As I've said already, feel free to just let me know in the comments underneath this video, ask away all of your questions, and I will be there in the comments to answer your questions either now as we are going out live with this first dropped workshop, or if you're watching on replay, you're very welcome along, and just feel free to share your questions and I will come back to you. I'm also delighted to announce that I'm going to be sharing a special invitation on Monday to my new, let's skip to the good bit, program. It's a 6-week powerhouse and you're going to love it, and I will share more information about that very soon. So what is coming up for you in today's workshop? We're going to be covering off the basics before we move on to your sales, so you don't sabotage your own success once you start selling more, as you want to do. We're going to cover off briefly why you're not currently making as many sales as you want to be and what to address to sort this out pronto. We're also going to have a look at the 3 parts of the human design chart to laser focus in on to create an energized and convicted sales plan for your next 20 sales of your online offer. So very briefly, before we get into it, I know I've met some of you in here before, but there are a lot of new faces, not places, faces. So welcome along. It is wonderful to have you here. My name's Laura. I'm the founder at Recurring Revenue Rocks. I spent the whole of my 20s as a high-end event manager for companies like Aston Martin, BP, the MOD, and also 3 national level professional membership bodies as well. So I've got a really great rounding in corporate and memberships, working in the events and marketing side in corporate for the whole of my 20s. It was amazing. I left to start working for myself when I turned 30. So I've been working for myself across different businesses since 2012. So I've just celebrated 14 years in business, which is nuts. I'm married to John. I've got 2 babies, Isla and Jack, who are now 9 and 11. And we live in a really cool 700-year-old village cottage by the sea in Devon in the UK. Let me know where you're joining from, by the way, in the comments. So I have been working for myself since 2012, as I've said, and I've sold literally thousands of my own online offers, programs, and memberships in that time across 4 successful businesses. So I know my stuff here from different angles. Yes, I am in the consulting industry here, but I have worked in other online businesses. I've created passive income-based digital product businesses completely from scratch, and I bring a lot of knowledge of online sales from different angles. So if you are not in the coaching or consulting fields, just know that, this experience that I'm bringing you here, it covers different ways of selling online. So let me know actually in the comments, what is it that you want to sell? What is the offer that you are looking to sell more of? Just briefly, my top core values are freedom, authenticity, adventure, and kindness. I'd love to hear your top core values too. So, very quickly, before we move on to the sales side of things, we need to sort out a couple of areas, because if you don't address these first off, you may well end up self-sabotaging your own success. So let's just, I'm a big one for kind of like getting out whatever the crux of the problem is. It's like, I'm not one to gloss over things, because otherwise it's just going to hold you up. So if we have found a gnarly issue, let's turf it out so we can crack on with good stuff. So first of all, what do you want to achieve here and why? The fuel for your next 20 sales of your online offer. So I love the fact that you're all in on wanting to create your plan for your next 20 sales for your online offer, but why do you want to sell them? And why do you want to make headway on this now, this month, not next month, like right away? Why are you on a mission to make these 20 sales? Is it because of the money you're going to make? Is it because you know you've got the ability and you want to stretch yourself and make yourself proud? Is it because you want to know that you can create a sustainable business where you can predict what's coming in each month, and you know your own blueprint, you know your own signature sales style, so you know what to roll out to make those sales? Like for me, if you would sit down with me and say, so Laura, how are you going to make your next 20 sales? I'll be like, right, pull up a chair. I'll walk you through it. I want you to have that level of confidence too, where you're just like, this is what I do because this is what works for me and my human design. Is it because you want to get calmer in your business and to know that you've got a plan for selling that suits you and just simply works? When you do this thing, you tend to get that outcome. That's where I want you to be. Is it because of the people that you're going to help and the onwards ripple effect of that positive impact? When you've got your reason why clearly in your mind, it makes the whole process a lot more enjoyable. So let's just tackle that off first. It might be something you want to journal on, or have a think about later on as you're cooking dinner, but really get clear on your why. I know what my why is. What's yours? And just a very quick checklist before we move into the human design goodness. This is a quick checklist for you just to make sure that you're selling the right thing. So this is the reason I bring this up is because there are so many incredibly wonderfully talented people who I work with, who they come to me wanting sales advice and how to make more sales. But actually, when we lift the hood, sometimes there are a couple of issues with the offer itself. So I'm just going to run you through a really quick checklist here to make sure that you're really happy about the offer that you're selling, because if you're not, sometimes that can hinder you, and it can actually mean that you end up self-sabotaging and not making as many sales as as you deserve, because secretly deep down you don't even want to sell the offer. And I ask me how I know, right? I have been there. I have absolutely been there. So I'm just going to run through this checklist with you now. This may be something you want to come back and revisit. This is just important that it is addressed first, like straight up. So first of all, have you created a very clear offer? And do you know who exactly the offer or membership is for and what problem it solves for them, or what it helps them to get better at? Can you tell me that like in a sentence? Can you tell me quite easily, like could my 9-year-old son understand what it is that you do? Is it that simply and easily explained? Secondly, are you happy about the price point? You will be amazed how many people self-sabotage themselves by selling too high or too low, and then, actually not going all in on their sales because they're like, well, it's too low. I'd feel rubbish if I sold it at that price point. I'd feel walked all over. Or selling too high and actually backing off on your sales because you're like, oh my God, I don't know if anyone's going to pay it. Oh my gosh. We don't want either of those things. So we need to make sure that your price point is right. Okay, so just something for you to have a little think around there. And then finally, this has been quite a big one for me on my journey over these years, is how are you going to deliver the offer and how does that fit with your human design energy? For example, if you're a projector, are you allowing yourself to go deep with your clients? Are you charging high enough for what you bring to the table? Are you allowing yourself enough time with your clients? This is really, really important. That's just a projector for an example. It's really, really important that you set up the container so that you actually want to sell it. Now, in the past, I have had one of my offers called Magnetize Your Membership. I sold hundreds of those places. And it was amazing. It was an amazing offer and I loved it so much. And I got so much experience and so many incredible testimonials and people that I worked with. But I ran it for too long a period. It was like a 12-month program. And I actually ended up self-sabotaging because I was like, secretly deep down, I was like, it's too long. It's too long and I'm not charging enough for it. So I ended up self-sabotaging and pulling back and not promoting in the way I knew I could have done because secretly deep down, I didn't even necessarily want to sell it in that package. In a different package, yes, but not that package. So this is just something for you to have a quick look at before we crack in, crack in and crack on with the good stuff. So, what you have already got in place, you have got your expertise, you've got your passion, you've got your desire for success, you've got your specific goals and your reason why, you've got an online offer that you love and you can't wait to sell. So, what on earth is stopping you from creating a smooth journey to your next 20 sales of your offer right now? Why aren't you making those sales this month? It's because you've probably been using a sales strategy that feels utterly wrong to you. And in fact, maybe utterly wrong is too dramatic. Sales strategies that feel heavy or inauthentic or tiring or annoying can all cause the exact same outcome. And the outcome is a lack of momentum in your sales. The outcome is sales happening here and there rather than consistently flowing in, which is what we want, right, for a vibrant, booming business. So let's have a look at the 3 areas in your chart that you can laser focus in on to help you create the game plan for your next 20 sales of your online offer. Bring it on, let's do this. So first of all, we're going to have a look at your type. We're also going to look at your authority and we're also going to look at your channels. These are like, obviously in human design, there are so many different areas that we can get our teeth into, but I just want to give you a very high level, like helicopter view of 3 areas that you can quickly tune into to give you that, like most of what I talk about here is actually to do with sales confidence. It's like there is a reason why I'm so confident doing what I do. And it's because I know that I've got my experience, I've got my passion, I've got my drive, I've got my why, but it's because I tie all those together with my human design. I use what I've already got in my chart to do the heavy lifting for me. I am not trying to grind it out like a different energy type than me. Okay, so we're just going to have a look at this now. This is just a little starter for you. We're going to go into this in more depth tomorrow and Monday, but let's just give you a helicopter view of how you can actually start implementing this today to start making more sales in your business. So, generators, you are up first. So you have mastered or are mastering an area of expertise. Your energy feels like a great big warm energizing hug. You'll have endless energy for sales as long as that sales process and importantly the thing that you're selling lights you up. As long as those things light you up, your sales process and the thing that you're selling. The red flag to look out for is when your energy starts dipping. And I see this happen all over the freaking place. Oh my gosh, I've got so many clients, so many people in my personal life who I see it, I know it. The moment that your energy starts to dip, it's like, oh, good Lord, you're on the wrong track. You're not selling the right thing, or you're not doing the sales strategy that works for your type, and your energy will dip. So that's your red flag. You're like, I'm on the wrong track. Something needs to change. So responding is key here. So good options for sales strategies for you will include group events with plenty to respond to. You know, lots of hubbub, lots of questions being asked, something for you to respond to as the expert that you are. DM sales where you can respond to incoming requests, you know, like that whole like, oh, DM me for XYZ. That's going to be great for you because you are great at responding. You've got that ignition and then you are off and away. Sales calls where you have a specific client type who lights you up and who you jam with on a call. That can be a really good one, like that to and fro, you know, questions being asked of you that you can respond to and you can showcase all of this expertise that you have. And also this is a new one, which I've done some experimenting with over the past year or so. Blueprint creation. This is a really cool one. Now, obviously, I'm just giving you an absolute helicopter view here. We are going to go into more depth with some different kind of like pulling together your blueprint. But with this blueprint creation, this can be a wonderful way to convert people into sales, and it can work very well for generator and money gen energy. It's this creating of a blueprint where your lead will tell you XYZ. problem that they're struggling with. Maybe they want to become a bodybuilder. Maybe they want to, I don't know, whatever it is your niche is. They want to do X, Y, Z, right? So you create them a blueprint. It's this wonderful position where you put yourself into a position of responding and you are going back to the person, and that can just open up this incredible opportunity for a sales conversation. I will talk more about that if anybody wants to know more about that. So projectors, you love to go deep and intense. Small talk can stick it, frankly. Your energy makes those that you focus on feel like $1,000,000. They feel seen and understood at last. You're not built for marathon sales strategies with dozens or hundreds of people at once, and you shine best when you go deep with one person at a time, or next best, small, select, discerning groups. And it's really important that you get naps every single day. So waiting for the invitation, are you showcased? So this is my point of view on this. I do hear a lot from projectors who are like, oh, I've got to wait for the invitation. I've got to hang back. I've got to, stay quiet. I've got to wait for the invitation. I've got a different take on that. So I know for a fact that projectors who showcase what they're doing, showcase the success in all areas of your lives, because I know that as a projector, you're a high achiever, right? Am I right or am I right or am I right? You're a high achiever. And if you showcase that on your social media, however it is you're marketing, however it is you're doing your lead gen, if you are showcasing that success, your audience and your leads can experience the high standards that you have, and they'll get a taster for what it's like to work with you. And that, when you're in this kind of like regular routine of showcasing what you're about, showcasing your energy, that is when you start getting the invitations in terms of people reaching out to work with you. That is how it works. And it needs to be that way. If you're not taking part in the game, no one's gonna be able to invite you because they're not going to see you first. And I see this all the time, especially with like when I've seen it with people who like they don't even know what human design is, and there is this kind of like bitterness and resentment of just like, oh, but I'm so good at all this stuff, and I'm not getting invited for the pay rise or for the new job offer, whatever, or I'm not making sales. It's like you need to put yourself in the fray. You need to be out there showcasing you're awesome so that people can get a taster for your success, because it's that thing. You've got such a gift, projectors. It's like you are so good at seeing what the problem is and helping people map out the way forward. And you are like, I say this like laughing because my sister, my little sister, is a projector, and I'd never tell her this kind of straight to her, but she does know best. She knows, she can see the route forward, and it's just like this wonderful feeling of being seen. And I see this with all my clients as well who are projectors. You need to showcase yourself. You need to let people in, let them get a glimpse of what you're about. And that is where the sales conversations can start flowing. Don't hide your light away in a room with a closed door. So reflectors, you move slower in a crazy fast world, and that feels like a balm to your audience. Your energy makes people feel so cared for and cherished. You're not built for go, 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 speedy sales, like yuck, right? You need the slow burn, the delight in not being rushed. Developing your skills over time and using the full lunar month to experience different angles of how to best sell your offer so you can see what settles best with you over time on your own terms. So waiting for a lunar month to pass, your audience will take so much comfort from the way that you sell. It's so freaking refreshing in a world where you've got 3 seconds to catch someone's attention with a hook on an Instagram reel. Reflector energy is like, it's like an exhale. It's wonderful. So your audience will take so much comfort from the way you sell, enjoyably and calmly over time, like making sourdough, right? Good things come to those who wait. A longer burn sales strategy of allowing your audience to see all facets of you over time. I remember having a conversation with one of my reflector clients, and I said to her, it's like you're like like the disco ball, like with loads of different kind of the little tiles all over it. It's like each one of those is part of you, and it's like you need to allow your audience to see all those different angles of you over time. Like A really great way for you to make sales would be on Instagram, growing an audience, allowing the reels, the explore tab to like push you out to more people, and always including a solid call to action. And, just letting people come to you like over time, not rushed, and long launch events that feel delightful over the course of 4 weeks or more. In-depth sales calls with boundaries. It's like, I go like this and I'm like, with boundaries. We need to have boundaries in place because otherwise stuff just goes a bit pear-shaped. So manifesting generators, you are fun, intellectually curious, and you move so quick and strong. I love it. Your energy makes people feel energized. Just being around you is like pow. You're built for a sales system that feels freaking fun. Put that at the top of the list. When you are having fun, you're going to make more sales. I want that to be your mantra. When I have more fun, I make more sales. Like write it down on a post-it note and stick it somewhere, maybe behind your computer on your wall, so that you see that every single day. You need to remember to have fun. Make that your mantra and allow yourself to experiment. This is like the lifeblood force of money gens. Like allow yourself that experimentation, that curiosity is what makes you you, and it's wonderful. So responding to the energy of your leads and audience, creating opportunities to showcase your versatility, launch events where you get people talking and where you can throw yourself into the action, vibing with people in the event. Sales calls can work really well for you as long as there are boundaries. Boundaries are so important when it comes to these kind of like sales skills that we're building. A busy interactive TikTok or Instagram with lots of call to action so that folks can message you about your offers and so that you can respond. So important. Remembering that you're not married to any one type of sales strategy, and you can mix up your styles. You can do that. You're a money gen. You can create new mashups of selling styles to suit you and the phase that you're in the moment, but it's most important that you have a go-to that you can lean on that works, and you know with some level of predictability what to expect on a month-to-month basis when you do a certain activity. And as a manager, really like you use that beautiful throat, speak, use your voice, bring things to creation. And finally, manifestors. So your energy is big and people will always know when you've entered the arena. So put that to good use in your sales strategy, basically. One of the things that I say quite often is if you have got it, flaunt it, use it, let your energy do the selling for you, right? So use that big energy to your benefit. Your energy catalyzes others into action, which is great for sales because if you, as a manifester, if you just by being you, you will literally catalyze others. Like I'm a manifester myself, and it's kind of quite interesting actually, just by having a conversation with someone, what ends up happening after that conversation, whether I have even mindfully suggested a new route or not. It is so fascinating and lovely, and it's just remember to just keep being you. I think as manifestors, it can be tricky sometimes because people can't read us, so we do need to inform. We do need to let people in by using our voice so that people can understand what we're about. Otherwise, it's kind of like a bit of a brick wall, right? So you are built for a sales system that gives you room for creative urges to shape new ideas for selling. Do not handcuff your hands behind your back and hide your creativity. You've got to allow yourself that creative flow. It would be like, if you make yourself do a certain thing, that would be like saying to an artist, you've got to paint this way forever. It's like, it's not right. You're a creator. As a manifestor, you're a very creative force, and you need to know what sells. You need to know what offers you have that sell. You need to know what strategy works for you. Generally speaking, using your voice and opening your mouth and talking and catalyzing people into action, but allow yourself creativity around that. So say for me, I have been in this business now, Recurring Revenue Rocks, since 2019, which is pretty awesome. And I know what to do to sell. I know that whenever I use my voice and I go live and do live events like this, I sell. That's where I make all my sales. So I do it over and over again. However, I allow myself creative kind of I allow myself self creativity around my events. I know what the strategy is, but I can mix those up all over the place. Like this is a brand new event right now. I've literally just created this today. Not the whole event. I created that last week, but this particular slide show I've just done this morning and a little bit yesterday. So it's brand new. I'm allowing myself that creative flexibility because that's what makes me happy, and it's what keeps me learning and doing well. So you've built for a sales system that gives you room for creative urges to shape new ideas for selling. And you're built for bursts of sales activity, followed by rest, and a system in place that means that you can sell all the time, even when you're in rest mode. So this is the problem that I see all the time, actually for all non-sacral types, but manifestors, especially just because of this kind of like the way we work with the like the creative urge and the rest, and the creative urge and the rest. We need something that pays us in the meantime. So it's really mega important to set up a sales system where you can always be selling stuff all year round, even when you're having a great big nap for like 3 weeks. Like for me personally, I always prioritize my clients when I'm in a rest phase. It's like look after my clients, do my basic marketing, but big fat sparkling launches, I tend to do they tend to coincide with when I've got a big creative urge going on, which is what this is right now actually. So I created my new offer, which is called Let's Skip to the Good Bit. That's off the back of a creative urge. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. It's like I cannot wait to help people to sell more of their online offers. And can you see how that's tied in? And because I'm excited and fired up, I'll make a lot of sales. But check on in with me in like 3 weeks' time. I'll be having a great big nap, right? I always look after my clients when I'm in a rest phase, but apart from that, I do tend to nap more. So informing is key. Creating sales opportunities that require your response or chasing will bring your energy to its knees. Ask me how I know. Don't go there. Chasing up, responding to lots of DM messages will be like kryptonite for you. I'm so dramatic. Sales calls can work sometimes. They can. And I'll never tell any type not to do sales calls if they work for you. In fact, if you've got a sales system that works for you, keep doing it. But let's pull out the bits that you actually enjoy most as well and supersize those. For me personally, there's a lot that I do enjoy about sales calls, but I don't really do them anymore because I have better ways of selling. I have better uses of my energy, right? So for some folks, especially generator energy and projector. In fact, all the types apart from manifestors, I can see sales calls working well as long as there are boundaries. Manifestors, if you're watching this and you're like, but I kill it at sales calls, great, keep doing it. I will never tell you to stop doing something that's working. However, what I do see working really well for manifestors who I've worked with in the past, who I'm working with now, and for me myself, is like doing kind of broader broadcast, that kind of approach sales, exactly like I'm doing now, getting plenty of people in and selling to everyone in one go, because that's a really good use of energy, basically like this catalytic kind of like exchange. Very, very cool. So it's really great when you can create impact on lots of people at once without getting into sales calls and follow-ups, if that feels aligned. Obviously, always check in with your authority here. If I'm saying something here and you're like, what? That's cool. You go with what works, but this is what I tend to see working on kind of like on a big scale, because I work with a lot of people and I see patterns amongst the different types, which is great. So your authority. So learning how to trust your authority is going to be such a big deal for you as you step up into your own signature sales system. Easier said than done. Like it sounds really like pretty and lovely, doesn't it? Yeah, learning to trust your authority. Just trust your authority, but it's actually like quite a brutal process, really, because you gotta trust it, and that's hard, especially when we're used to overthinking everything up in our heads. To actually trust that feeling in our bodies and to trust our authorities is yeah, it's a journey for sure. So just remember, this is an experiment that you're always finding out more useful information on. All of us, myself included, we're all in the lab. We're all in the laboratory. We're all getting better and better at learning to trust our authorities. We're all tinkering away at the experiment, right? We're all doing that and we're all getting better each day. So I'm just going to use myself as a quick case study here. So this is me. There's my human design, so cute. So I am a splenic authority. So learning to trust my authority has meant some really, really hard lessons actually, but with incredible outcomes. So one of those lessons that I learned was that shorter containers tend to work better for me. I'm very catalytic. I like to have a big, big fat glittering impact very quickly. I like to move people into action, and then it's kind of like I always have a laugh with my manifestor clients because it's kind of like you're at the harbor waving off the ship. You're like, there you go, bye. That's the way my energy works. So I actually ended up wrapping up one of my best-selling programs that I made multi six figures from, called Magnetize Your Membership, because I was running it on too big a scale over too long a period of time. So I ran it over 12 months, and actually, like I don't know if I was saying about that earlier, but like the self-sabotage thing is kind of like I ended up doing less sales events because that's what sold them and it sold well. But I ended up doing less of them. And when I look back at my launch history, I'm like, oh, why did I only launch like 4 times that year? That's really weird. But it's like that was me holding back because I didn't actually want to enroll more people on a 12-month program. This is why it's like it's so important to address these undercurrents before we get to it and amp up our sales, right? So shorter containers work better for me. And my splenic authority is always telling me that. Like I knew that. I did know that. So when my head overrules my spleen, my splenic authority, you know, yeah, the other foot's what's that saying? The other heel's gonna drop, the other foot's gonna whatever, the other shoe's gonna drop. It will. You've got to trust your authority. So my splenic authority has always told me, like, no, Laura, no sales calls. No, don't do it. Don't do the sales calls. Don't do the sales calls. Whenever I do sales calls, I've had a lot of fun sales calls, don't get me wrong, but it is not the best use of my energy. The best use of my energy is doing things like this for me as a splenic manifester 4/6 Shaw's environment, right? This is what works for me. It might not necessarily work for you, but that's why we're doing this event. So sales calls don't work for me. It's like I worked with a wonderful coach and she was just like, don't write them off. Like I am good at them. I can be very good at sales calls. And she's like, Laura, don't write it off. You've got something where you can actually make conversion, don't write it off. But my spleen's like, like the big red button on Britain's Got Talent. That's how I feel about sales calls. So I can't ignore my splenic authority. And I'm going to say this to all of you as well. Always listen to your authority over anything anyone else says, anything I say, anything the next guru says. Your authority always wins, always. So even though my past coach, my mentor was excellent, she was very, very good. My splenic authority still knew better, right? So remember to trust that. Blueprints don't work for me. So this is this kind of this strategy of creating blueprints for people. Now I have run a lot of events, like I've literally lost count of the number of events like this that I have run. I have tried different events and different I'm always like I'm a Shaw's person, so I'm always kind of bringing together different things, like smooshing together different strategies and seeing what works and seeing what doesn't work. Something that didn't work for me is putting myself into a place of response where I remember once I ran a live event like this was quite commonplace actually when I was doing big launch events for, say, Magnetize Your Membership. I'd have like 400 people in a pop-up group, and I remember I counted once the number. Clearly I'm crazy because I actually counted them up, but I did something like, I don't know, it was over 1,500 responses to people's comments over the course of, like, I ran longer events back then. It was more like a week or so, but it was like, oh, it might have even been like 2,000. Like I remember it was just this absolutely shockingly large amount of comments that I went back to. And I know some people would say, why don't you hire a VA to do that? But I don't want to hire anyone. So I hired someone when I first started out in business, and I realized that I'm a lone wolf, if you like. I'm a solo worker. So I don't employ anyone. This is my own business. I just work with me, myself, and I in my office. So yeah, putting myself as a manifester into that place of response in a launch was not cool. So these days I run a slightly different business model, and don't get me wrong, like, please feel free to put whatever questions you want. Like, I'm not in any way, like, I want to hear your questions and I want to come back to you. This is like a co-creation, right? But where I'm putting myself in a place of response too much, like say with the blueprints, or I used to do a thing where I was like, send me a screenshot of your human design body graph and I'll tell you 3 different ways that you could make recurring revenue using your human design energy. I remember I ran one event last year where I can't even remember the number, but it was a lot. It was like 60 or something, 60 odd people had asked for me to go back to them. And it was like, it ruined me. I was exhausted. I was like running an event where I should have been like, oh, being able to go back to people's questions and having lots of fun. But instead I was going back and creating all these voice notes, and it wasn't a good use of my energy. So blueprints, kind of doing that level of response, is not good for me. And something that I have learned through my splenic authority is that live sales work really, really well for me. So I do more of them. So very briefly, let's have a look at channels. So I do love this part of our human design when it comes to really owning who we are. It is such a confidence boost, knowing what our special talents are and how our energy flows most easily. So I would say now, pull up a copy of your report. If you haven't done that yet, your Business X Human Design report, which is on my site. I will pop the link in the comments. If you haven't downloaded it yet, definitely grab yourself a copy. I know we've got a lot of human design OGs in here who are probably very well aware of what your channels are. But for those of you who are quite new to human design, this is something that I would definitely encourage you to go down the rabbit hole of learning about your channels in your chart. This is something I was quite late to the party with learning about my channels. I was kind of like more ensconced in other areas of my chart first, but once I started learning about the channels, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. Like I can use these in my sales process and it's going to make everything so much more fun. So this is why I'm really big on it. So pull up a copy of your report now. I'll put the links in the comments and look at your channels. So much gold to learn here and to lean into here. And this combined with the rest of your chart can really start shaping your next 20 sales game plan. So I'm just going to use my own channels as an example here. So I am a 4/6 splenic manifester. Always remember the influence of the rest of your chart on these channels. So these are my channels here. I don't know, can you see my mouse? I think you can. So my channels are just like, it's like this whoosh. So I have got a defined root, defined spleen, defined throat, defined ajna, totally open head, and then open all across here as well. So my three channels are the channel 1156, the channel of curiosity. So how I use this, I'm just showing this as an example so that you can see how like the mentality I use when I'm looking at people's channels as to how cool this is to help you create a better sales plan that will work for you better. Like if you've got it, flaunt it, right? If you've got this stuff in your chart, use it. It's so important. It's like, if you're an Olympic athlete and you have a natural aptitude for long jump, why would you make yourself do sprints instead? Do you know what I mean? It's like if you've got a natural aptitude for something, use it for goodness sake. So channel 1156, channel of curiosity, how I use this in my sales strategy. I tell the stories of what I've been through in my 14 years of business ownership. So bearing in mind that I'm a 4/6 as well. So 6, role model, I'm here to talk. 4, I'm here to create community. Just bear that in mind too. So I sift through ideas and articulate what my audience and leads need to hear and know. I create connection through the lived experience that I've had. I inspire my perfect leads to take action as they know and can see and hear that I know my stuff. I've walked the talk for a really, really long time. Channel 1648, the channel of talent, and how I use this in my sales strategy. So I strive for mastery in my work and I push boundaries to find out what I can do next to make things even better. My leads and audience see me doing this. It's a very tangible, visceral thing. Just like me delivering this workshop right now, I show my audience what I'm doing and how I do it. And that inspires my perfect fit leads to take action. I've also got the channel 3254, the channel of success. So how I use this in my sales strategy, I am really, really ambitious and I am so driven. I don't meet many people as driven as me. That's an honest fact. Like when I meet people as driven as me, I'm like, oh, wow, someone who's as driven as me to get to your goals. Like, let me know if you're a driven person in the comments. I've got so much drive to achieve what I know I'm capable of. Like really a lot. That's my defined route doing its thing. I am really ambitious and my clients love this element of me and they know that when they're in a session with me, this drive and ambition that I have rubs off on them. This always happens every single time. That is why I consistently and constantly hear in my client one-to-one sessions, things like, that one thing you just said has paid for my whole investment with you. Like that's a thing. That is a thing. And when I'm with you, it's like all of my energy is unlocked and I can finally move forwards. I know this because I hear it all the time from my clients, which I love. And I'm so sure to showcase this element of me in my own sales strategy. Again, this is what I'm doing with you right now here today. So there's a reason I'm doing this. It's because it's me literally talking. I'm living my design here by doing this work in this way. So my vision for you, I would love for you to be able to pull on these different elements of your chart, to have so much confidence in what you are that it can't help but shine out. Because when you're shining, you become irresistible to your leads and your audience. And then making those next 20 sales of your online offer becomes an extension of who you are. It becomes natural and fun and liberating rather than heavy and clunky and awkward and demotivating and weird. So, what is coming up for you over the rest of the next 20 sales of your online offer event? So tomorrow we have got workshop 2. So this is going to be a really fun one tomorrow. We're going to have a look at how you can use your human design environment to give you the winning edge with making your next 20 sales into your offer. This is one of my favorite elements of the chart to work with, and I can't wait to show you how to use it. So don't miss it. Over the weekend, we're going to be going to a catch-up weekend. And then Monday, we're going to be actually pulling together what we've learned so far to map out your own personal next 20 sales blueprint. It's going to be so, so good. I'm really, really excited about this. So do move things around to be there if you can. You need to be there to ask me the questions. If you need to watch on replay, that's cool, but try and get yourself to the live if you possibly can. I'm going to be there live in the comments like I am right now. And yeah, just, I can't wait to get you into a place where you know what you need to do next. So also on Monday, I'm going to be opening up a handful of places to work with me closely, one-to-one inside my new Let's Skip to the Good Bit offer, where we do this work together in real time, creating you a bespoke signature sales system that you can create and deploy right away. So you can start cracking on with your sales strategy in a way that energizes you and that magnetizes your favorite kinds of clients to your offer. If you want to make 20 sales whenever you want, this is the offer where we create that strategy together and deploy it in real time with my mentoring the whole way through. It is so, so good. So thank you so much for being a part of this. And hopefully I've answered all the questions in the comments whilst this video's been running. I am there in the comments live right now. So if you've got any other questions, if you're watching this on replay, feel free to just, share any comments, any questions about how this relates to you and your human design, anything that's coming up for you, anything that is, like I always say, like if there's something gnarly there for us to get out and have a look at, to break it down so you can move forward, let me know. And yeah, I'm just so excited to share the rest of this event with you. I will see you tomorrow for the environments focus session. Don't miss it. This is so tangible and so visceral and so good, and you can put it to action right away in your business. You're going to freaking love it. So thank you for being here. I can't wait to share the rest of the event with you, and have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. Take care.